At the firing range, Clayton turned Riley over to the instructor and watched from his unit to avoid the swirling, chilly March wind. First, the instructor went over the range protocols and walked Riley through the outdoor combat pistol range, showing Riley what to expect on the course. Just as Riley was about to start a dry-fire practice run with the pop-up targets hidden from view, the wind kicked up a dust devil that obscured him from Clayton's sight. When the wind subsided and the dust settled, Riley ran the course with ease, holstering his weapon while moving from one concealment point to the next, assuming a proper shooting stance at each firing station. Riley returned to the starting line, where he donned protective eyewear, loaded his weapon with live ammo, put extra magazine clips in the pouches on his belt, and waited for the instructor's signal to go. When it came, Clayton tracked Riley's progress with binoculars. After Riley finished, the instructor inspected the targets, tallied the score, and gave Clayton a thumbs-up sign. Then he moved Riley over to the adjacent stationary target range and tested him with the shotgun. Once live firing ceased, Clayton joined the instructor behind the firing line while Riley went down range on the handgun course to pick up his spent brass. "Good shooting," the state cop said, handing Clayton the paperwork. Riley had qualified as an expert marksman with both his department-issued .45 caliber semi-automatic and the 12-gauge pump shotgun. "Excellent," Clayton said as he slipped the signed paperwork into Riley's training file, went down range, and gave his new deputy the good news. Riley smiled slightly as he dumped his spent brass into a rusty coffee can. "I thought I did okay." Clayton nodded. "More than okay. Let's head back to the office. Sheriff Hewitt will want to talk to you." Riley feigned a worried look. "Am I in trouble already?" Clayton laughed and shook his head. "No, he just wants to give you his traditional pep talk before he cuts you loose on patrol." "The new guy speech?" Riley asked as he slipped a fresh magazine into his .45. "Exactly." Riley holstered his weapon. "Thanks for your help this week." "Not a problem. Welcome to the Lincoln County S.O. I think you do just fine." Riley laughed. "Believe me, I'm glad to be here." On the drive to the sheriff's office in Carrizozo, the county seat, Clayton glanced at the dashboard clock. It looked like he would actually keep his promise to Grace to get home on time, so he could look after Wendell and Hannah while she attended an evening meeting of the Mescalero Apache Tribal Council. Grace ran the Child Development Center on the reservation and was scheduled to give her annual report and submit a budget request for additional funding. She'd been working hard on the project all week long. In Carrizozo, Clayton took Riley into Sheriff Paul Hewitt's den of an office and sat quietly while Hewitt gave the new deputy his spiel about teamwork, the importance of the chain of command, his vision of community policing, and other weighty matters. The meeting ended with Riley amiably agreeing to work a double that evening to cover for an officer who'd called in sick. Hewitt held Clayton back after Riley left. In his 50s, Hewitt was serving his last term as sheriff and would retire when it expired. He sat behind his big desk, kicked back in his chair with his cowboy boots up on the desk, rubbed his chin, and shot Clayton one of his patented give-it-to-me-straight looks. "You had Riley under your wing for a week. What do you think of him?" "He's solid, level-headed, and intelligent," Clayton said. "Takes direction and supervision well. The only question I have is why he never made any rank at his old job." "Did you ask him about it?" "Yeah, he said he likes patrol duty. Likes being on the street. Doesn't care much about moving up the chain of command, especially after being a top sergeant in the military." "Do you buy it?" Hewitt asked. Clayton shrugged. "Why not? Don't you?" "It's possible," Hewitt said as he paged through the training report Clayton had assembled on Riley and the personnel records that his previous employer, the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office, had sent down. "He got solid performance evaluations in his old job and was promoted to Deputy 3, which is equivalent to a corporal's rank." "Did you talk to the Santa Fe County Sheriff about Riley?" Clayton asked. Hewitt closed the paperwork and got to his feet. "Yep. And he reassured me that I wasn't getting a reject or a screw-up from his department. Said he was sorry to lose him. So let's hope Riley works out, likes it here, and stays with us." "That would be nice," Clayton said. "Don't you need to get home so Grace can go to an important meeting or some such?" "Affirmative," Clayton said, rising to his